Hey you guys, how's it going? I am so excited for today's video. We're going to be talking all about what is blocking you from romantic love. This video is going to be for anyone who feels genuinely ready for that deep, intimate connection with someone, who is ready to find their partner, but can't quite seem to figure out why that relationship isn't coming into their lives. We're going to be talking all about you and your energy. What's going on with you? What do you need to focus on? What should you be aware of? And what you can do to help lift that block as well. All the cards I'm using are going to be listed in order of appearance in the description box down below. And all timestamps are going to be listed in the description box as well. I'm also going to put it in the comments for easier access. And for those of you who are looking on the phone, you can scroll to the comments and just easily click the timestamp there. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Hope you enjoy. Hey you guys, okay, so here we have the 5 piles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, starting with a rose quartz, jade, red jasper, hematite, and amethyst. So whatever you need to do, pause the video if you want to. Go ahead and pick which pile speaks to you the most, or which pile you're drawn to the most, just intuitively. If you have a specific question, you're welcome to ask it. However, this reading is more geared toward how to unblock your romantic energy, right? To invite love in. So take a moment, timestamps will be down below for you to quickly jump to your pile, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, pile number 1, here we go. You guys selected the rose quartz. So let's see what comes out for you. Okay, King of Cups, Queen of Cups. Oh goodness, Knight of, oh my gosh, you guys. I sat here and shuffled these cards for like ever, but here we have all 4 cup cards. All of the court cards, right? King, Queen, Knight, and Page, even like almost in order. So, okay, well, what does this tell me? First of all, there's an absolute readiness for love, okay? Maybe even a little bit too ready, to the point where the energy is really, really receptive, right? You seem to be really waiting for someone to come in, but maybe there's not a lot of like going after it or taking proper actions to really make it happen. There's an aspect with this many cups, right, that there might be something really emotional going on, or has been going on for quite a while now, to the point where you might be afraid, right? You might be afraid of allowing yourself to really fall. Now, some of you may be sitting there and be like, Jane, like, no, I'm not afraid. I'm ready. I'm really wanting this romantic love, this romantic connection in my life. But at the same time, maybe there's something that may indicate otherwise, right? Like in your mind, you feel ready, but what is it you're doing to really show or prove, I guess, to the universe that you really are ready? Are you really going out? Are you taking a chance with flirting? Do you have love put on a pedestal? Do you have the type of person that you want to be with on a pedestal? Are you searching something that is, I don't know, like I feel as though the emotional connection for you is the most important part. Right? Like that's kind of the aspect of where you're needing to feel fulfilled. You need to be able to look deep within each other's souls, to feel that tantric energetic flow from the heart space down to the root chakra, and all like that cycle between two people. Like you're really needing the energy flow to feel fully fulfilled. And maybe on some level, the connections that you've made recently have been wildly disappointing, right? They've been like, maybe in so many ways you actually can sense the blockages of the other person, especially if you're a female dealing with men specifically, or if you're a female with more masculine oriented females, okay? You can feel where the other people are not involved, or where they are not fully open. You can feel their fears, you can feel their hang-ups and all their psychological trauma or whatever. And I think the Queen of Cups intelligence knows when to invest and when to not invest. So you're not about to accept the responsibility for someone else's healing. And maybe you've been coming across a lot of people who have been needing healing. And that can be problematic, right? Because you don't want to be the crutch for anybody else. You're willing to help, yes, sure, but again, the energy is more from another person toward you. You waiting for someone to come into your life. You waiting for someone to show you that they're ready, because I think you are sitting ready. But again, that fear, right, that I just mentioned, the fear of what it's going to take. The fear that maybe that person doesn't exist. Maybe they're too idealistic, right? Maybe you have put it on a pedestal a little bit. So you're going to have to get real logical with yourself, I think. I do. I think that there's a logic component that might be missing with all this cups and all this water. I mean, this is so bizarre how these came out like exactly in order here. I mean, not bizarre. I mean, it is tarot, right, after all. So let's see what else comes out. Here we have the New Visions Tarot. Okay, so we have the Eight of Wands, the Empress energy. It's like the same tarot, right? But with a different perspective. Like here you have the Empress card and you're kind of looking at her from behind, and behind her there are two children. I suspect some of you are very ready for the family. Okay, she often indicates the pregnant woman. We have the swan here as well. So some of you may have undergone the ugly duckling to the swan transformation process, which is again probably why your boundaries are, like you have to really set the boundaries, but be careful that your boundaries aren't so strong that you're blocking people out too. I'm feeling a really mystical element to everything. And there's blurriness to everything too. So in order to really unblock your energy, it's important for you to have faith, okay? Because the Eight of Wands is a suggestion that there's something pretty awesome coming really soon, right? Really, really soon. Some of you may have these idealistic ideas of what you want in your partner, but then you immediately swat yourself down and being like, yeah, no, that's not real. No, that's not true. But in reality, not true, but like available, like no one's like that, right? You may have that dialogue going on in your mind of like, I want all this amazing stuff, but that person doesn't exist. Or evidence has proven to me that that kind of person is not here on this earth for me, right? So Eight of Wands comes in to prove you wrong, because I think there is someone really amazing right around the corner for you romantically, and someone that is going to teach you a lot, someone that is going to be healthily open with you, not overly open, right? Because we know that that can be really problematic, but who's open, who's real, who's authentic, who does connect with you in that deep emotional way, and that transfers into the sexual component as well. I think you are very ready for sexual activity, and I did pull out the Sexual Magic Tarot deck, so I got a couple cards for the sexual energy that you may be dealing with too. But the Empress is a suggestion that, like, yes, I'm very ready for this kind of relationship in my life. Yes, I'm very ready to be with somebody and to create something. Maybe not necessarily children, but also a life, right? A life. And yet there is an unattainability that comes with the Empress too, because she does hold herself up to such high standards that people are on the chopping block a lot, and a lot of people don't make the cut. So in a way, by upholding your boundaries, you may feel like you're filtering out everybody, like I was saying before, you're filtering out everybody because you're sensing something that's going on with them that just simply isn't for you. So have faith, though, that there will be someone coming, probably soon. And when I say soon, like I'm actually getting probably within the next year. I'm getting real springtime vibes from this Eight of Wands here. Okay, I almost feel like you need to go through a winter phase, and I know I'm talking like weather, but you know, I know some of you are in the southern hemisphere, but the winter stage of life, and allow yourself to come into spring, and then summer is going to bring all this wonderful abundance. Here you are though, Nine of Wands, again, a very protective energy, really sifting through. I think it's been a very stringent application process to get into your life. And I know that people have wanted to come into your life, right? People have wanted to connect with you. They've wanted to see you. They've wanted to date you. But you're just kind of like, nope, 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 nope. Because it's like your intuition is way too strong almost. You are picking up on truthful things, but it is those things that are hindering you, and that's where the fear comes in, okay? So be careful that you're not giving people at least a little bit of a chance, right? You may need to give someone a chance in order for a love to really blossom. You may need to take some kind of a leap of faith, you know? So what do we have here for the sexual energy? We have the Four of Cups, and we have another Knight of Cups, okay? Knight of Chalices here. This, again, is definitely you waiting for someone to come. Like, you're sexually very ready. And I think the universe is highly aware of your sexual readiness at this time. It's like, okay, this pile one group, you know, they're drawing it into themselves, but you might also be enjoying a little bit of solo stuff right now, just because, you know, you want to keep that sacral chakra sharp, your bottom two chakras. You want to make sure that they are still functioning, because if you have a blockage in that second chakra, it can prevent love from coming in, right? It really can. Romantic love, sexual love. And right now with the Four of Cups, I feel like you've been keeping yourself on the shelf a little bit. Maybe there has been a little bit of celibacy, or maybe you haven't, really engaged with anyone in a meaningful way. And maybe for some of you, even if you've been on a couple dates or whatever, and you felt that spark, your intuition still was like, don't do it, don't do it. So you didn't really go for it. Again, I think the sexual energy is really, really, really important. And I think you don't want to just engage with just anyone sexually, which I think ultimately is a good thing, because what we know about the exchange of energy and fluids, and how you absorb things from other people when you have sex with them, I think it's an intelligent choice, But you do need to allow possibility, right? You need to allow possibility. Someone's coming. I definitely see someone coming, especially if you're a female waiting for a masculine person, right? Male or a female with masculine energy. If you're a man, there might be someone that catches your eye, right? There might be someone that kind of like triggers you in a specific way, but you as the masculine energy, you are going to have to make the approach. Okay, the feminine person in your scenario is not going to be crossing the bridges here. So what else? Prosperity begins. And with the Empress card, that's a perfect mirror. Prosperity, love, and the life, right? The creation. There's abundance here with prosperity too. So it's not just love for the sake of falling in love, it's love for the sake of really creating a life. And I think it's kind of like an all or nothing with you guys. Like you're not really wanting to be towing the line between am I in and am I out? It's like, no. Like if you're gonna be there, you have to freaking be there. You have to bring it. If you're going to come at me, you have to really come at me. And there's almost a demand. And maybe that's even part of why you feel like your options are really, really small or nil. Because you're demanding the other people to be the best of themselves. Because you've done so much work on yourself and you feel like you are being the best of yourself. And you have like this is definitely sixth sense going on with all these cups. Like you're able to sniff out someone's pain or sniff out the area of where someone needs to work. And, you know, when you have that ability, it can make it really hard. Like, okay, that person needs to heal. Like this has nothing to do with me. And you can just walk away so easily for your own security. And I think that it is a good thing, but it does kind of, you know, leave you in more of a celibate state. So here we have the chakras, okay? Throat chakra. This is authenticity, communication, and leadership. So it's really important for you to not expect people to know what you need and to know, like, it's really important for you not to expect anything from anybody, because I don't think they can read you the way you read them. You have to speak. If you want a relationship, you're going to have to say that. You know, maybe some of you have even ghosted people recently or just kind of gone MIA on people because in your heart and in your mind, you were just like, it's not for me. But then you've also kind of left someone hanging too, or maybe you've been a little bit of a tease. So that's not a good energy to have either. You need to put an end where there needs to be an end and be like, hey, you know what? Like, you're a really great person, but I'm just not feeling it. I just don't feel that thing. You know, it's just not really quite what I'm looking for. And it is better to hurt them, so to speak. It's better to hurt them than to let them hang, because you letting someone else hang also leaves loose ends for you, which also might be blocking love coming into your life. Okay, we have the crystal deck, the crystal spirits. We have malachite, one of my favorite crystals. So this speaks to the proper use of your mind, your intellect. So we have the intellect and the communication. So this is actually really masculine, kind of like left brain functions. There needs to be some logic. This is in stark contrast with all the emotional components that came out in the first layer, all right? You need to use your logic. You need to use your because your emotions might be the echoes of the past. So the power of your rational thought is of benefit to you right now. Because you know what you need to know, and you can make decisions right now. But I think some of you might also need to talk yourself into giving someone a chance. Talk yourself into doing something or continuing a connection that maybe you would have written off, but there was maybe a little something, but you were just kind of like in an all or nothing space. But I do feel like some of you are needing to talk yourself into something. Talk yourself into giving someone a chance, or talk yourself into even just going out there and trying to date rather than keeping yourself on the shelf so much. Okay? And then the last one is boundaries. So, yeah, I mean, with all the cups, it is that boundary, and I it is, or the lack of boundaries rather, and it's energetic and emotional boundaries. Because I know you don't want to be the crutch, like I said, for anybody else. You don't want to be the one or the reason why someone, can't deal with, like, whatever, right? But you also need to make sure that your boundaries aren't so severe. That's what I'm feeling, is that there's just a little bit too much severity in your boundaries, a little bit too much severity in your separation with people, and maybe even a little too much isolation or hermit mode stuff going on. Like, if you want love to come into your life, you have to be in a position where love can come into your life. Now, all directions and all signs point to, yes, it's coming, or at least it's trying to come in. Right? It's definitely trying to come in, so you have to give it a chance. Okay? All right, pile one. Thank you guys so much. I hope you got some insights from this. And that's it. Thank you. Okay, pile number 2, you guys selected Jade. Let's go ahead and get started with these cards. Okay, we have the 4 of crystals, or like 4 of coins, 3 of coins, 7 of cups, and the King of Swords. So, feeling as though you're really busy. Like, I think you have a lot of things going on. You have a lot of work stuff going on. You have a lot of things to really take care of. You have a lot of responsibility and a lot of people really depending on you for a lot of things. You might be like really social right now, or you may have a desire to be, or maybe there's just a lot of professional networking stuff going on. Maybe there's like some kind of a convention or a group thing or something like that. That's really taking your focus away from the romantic aspect of life. Now, if that doesn't speak to you, there could be an overabundance of practical friendships and relationships in your life that are being nourished and prioritized over the romance. Okay, I'm feeling a very detached vibe from this King of Swords. Some of you are taking on this King of Swords energy. King of Swords can be like, he can have a somewhat distorted view of his own energy a lot of times from the way I'm perceiving it or the way I'm picking up on this card right now. He can perceive himself as being totally out there and being totally available and being fun-loving and adventurous and being the type of person that people would love to have in their life. But in reality, there's a distance and people feel like they cannot achieve or attain or get deep with this King of Swords. So you're taking this on. And the 4 of coins is often a card of being blocked or being really stuck with something. And I'm wondering if you have a certain mindset about love or about partners or the type of person that you want to be with that is so stringent and so strict that you are actually limiting huge possibilities. Right? This is someone who prides themselves on, I know what's best for me, but the universe is like, okay, well, I'll continue giving what you think is good for you, but then that's why you are where you are. That's why you're left still feeling unfulfilled. Now, this is a highly self-sufficient individual, right? Really self-reliant. You can take care of yourself. You can make your own money. You can travel by yourself. Like, there are so many things you can do on your own. Like, you don't need anybody. And sometimes that can be problematic too, because they're picking up. That's what's happening. People are picking up on, well, this person doesn't really need me, so then they just sort of move on, right? They don't need me. They don't really care if I'm in their life. They're so busy. They have so many other things going on. They're not thinking about me. But in reality, you are thinking about them and you are wanting something deeper, right? But it's going to be important for you to take note of your warmth. How warm are you when you interact? How flirtatious are you? I'm getting very dry from here. Be careful, right? What you're perceiving yourself to be might not be what other people are experiencing with you, right? 2 people can have the exact same experience, but see it from 2 totally different angles. And there's some confusion with the 7 of Cups, right? And I think that that's kind of why, like, what it is. Maybe you even have like multiple partners online, or maybe you have when I say online, I don't mean like on the internet. I mean in your life. You may have multiple options, and maybe you're just kind of juggling or trying to figure out what's going to be the best fit. But I'm telling you that if there's not one person that's really speaking to you, I would recommend just ending all of them so that you create space for that really special someone. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and pull the tarot. So we have the 5 of Wands, King of Cups, and the Hanged Man. Okay, so this is some drama. You may be attracting some petty people as well. You may be attracting people that are maybe not as spiritually evolved as you are, or who are a lot more immature than you are, which can make it even that much more difficult or that much more challenging. To get the King of Cups and the King of Swords, I mean, these are, of course, they're fully capable of love, right? They're fully capable of feeling that deep connection, especially a King of Cups. But there's such a high level of consciousness with both of these. There's a feeling of just kind of knowing what is best, right? But there's also the arrogance. And I'm not saying you're all sitting there being all super arrogant, but when we get the Hanged Man, it tells me that you might be in for some kind of a surprise in terms of the way you see yourself. Or in terms of the way you see love, in terms of the role that romance has in your life. The reason for the stagnation is because something is needing to change, that there is some belief or some idea that is no longer serving, and yet that is the very belief that has sort of propped you up for so long. And sometimes it can be really hard for us to see what that even is. Now, I suspect that within the next 6 months, that belief is going to be entirely dissolved. All right? That structure that you've set in place is going to be gone, right? We have the Pluto-Saturn thing happening, right? So yeah, that might be gone soon. But you have to just let it happen. So for those of you who are trying to date, you may attract some really interesting people. Not to say they're bad, but they're going to challenge you in a lot of ways. They're going to push your buttons. They are going to trigger you. They are going to make you really think about you and how you feel and how you are in relationships, because what you think probably isn't the way that other people are experiencing it. And it's humbling. And for two kings to be humbled, that's a lot, right? It's when two kings get humbled, the earth quakes. And I do suspect that your life is about to change in a really positive way because of this stagnation. So this stagnation that you're feeling is not for nothing. And it would be a really good idea for you to indulge in the not knowing and do the meditations and everything that are needed to elevate your consciousness, to ask your guides to help you see that which you are not seeing. Okay? Because there might be a behavior or something that really, really, really needs to soften up. Okay, this is real icy King of Swords. I see a lot of times. It's a very icy energy. So people are experiencing you in a cold manner, but that's not how you think you're being. Okay, so keep an open mind here. Keep a very open mind. So now from the sexual energy, or what is it called? The Sexual Magic Tarot, we have the Queen of Coins. And we have the Queen of Cups. So the Cups connection's coming through here. So with this particular, see, I wanted to pull this out because the sexual energy and romantic energy are so interconnected, right? And Queen of Coins, she's powerful. And in a way, there's a feeling like, I feel like he's kind of like servicing her, right? And he's kind of at her beck and call. I'm sorry, this might not apply to all of you, but I'm definitely seeing like a foot fetish thing going on here. Some of you maybe like have something like that going on, but this isn't really that kind of a reading. But you know, I do feel like she expects someone to kind of be at her beck and call and to satisfy her needs, but at the same time, like if this person were to service you in that way, you would be more than happy to then give, because I think in some way she's satisfying his foot fetish here while she's, you know, kind of also being serviced in her own way. So it's the give and take, it's the reciprocity that is needed, but in a way you are needing that person to approach you. you are needing that person to come to you, but people aren't wanting to come to you because they're picking up on something that says like, well, maybe they're not welcome, or maybe like you're so self-sufficient, you're so successful, you're doing so well, you must have all these options in dating, you must have all these guys or all these girls or whatever, even if that that idea is totally wrong. Like you might not have anybody, but that's kind of what people are thinking about you. So it's confusing. People don't know what to do. They don't feel safe to approach at this time. I love the Queen of Cups though here because it's very feminine, and with the harshness of the kings to get the two queens is really great. You're wanting to receive in a sexual manner, but in the outside world when you're interacting with people, you're taking on the masculine. So there's a disconnect. So I feel like the animal DNA, genetically driven, biological need to care about someone is becoming so strong. It's becoming so real, and it's almost becoming undeniable. Some of you, it might be becoming a little obsessive too. Feelings of loneliness, or feelings like I want nothing more than to just feel a heartbeat in my bed next to me. I just want to feel life. And really, honestly, pay attention to your warmth. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at these psychic tarot. So we got the base chakra, which is very connected with our sexuality, right? The bottom two chakras. This has a lot to do with survival, but it's also connected with fear, right? If this is out of balance, there's a fear component. So what is it that you're really afraid of? I suspect what you're really afraid of is falling in love and getting hurt. And because of that, you are energetically rejecting people on accident. Okay? Why are you afraid? I don't think it has to do with money. I don't think it has to do with your survival. I think it has to do with not wanting to lose your independence and not wanting to lose your, I read an article once, and for me, as an independent person, it really knocked me to the floor, and it said something to the extent of highly independent people tend to attract other emotionally unavailable people because that emotional unavailability does not threaten their independence. So it was like a catch-22, because you do want to connect with someone, you do want to love someone, and you definitely want them to love you back, but you choose people who aren't available because you're so independent and you don't want the dependence. So pay attention to that balance within yourself. Okay, what are you really afraid of? All right, we have from the ritual deck, the Amethyst crystal, which is all about your intuition, calmness, and insight, which goes hand in hand with the Hanged Man energy, which is connected with Neptune. Okay, so this is a high level consciousness development that's going on for you right now. I don't necessarily know. It's almost as though you have to ground your high consciousness and you need to elevate your base consciousness, and they need to kind of meet in the middle at the heart chakra there. There's kind of this inverse fluidity going on between the bottom and the top. So it's really important for you to allow the Hanged Man energy, right, to allow your consciousness to change, to allow your perspective of yourself to change, how you are in relationships, and to like maybe even admit where you were wrong, that you've never admitted that you were wrong before. To come to grips, to accept something. Okay? I feel like, sorry, I just happened to see this one. So here we have fluorite, which is one of my favorite crystals. It's so magical. It's so beautiful. And to me, this is like the end of uncluttered thinking. the end of cluttered thinking, to unclutter your thoughts, to get everything straight. And it's liberating to really break free from these beliefs that it's not coming to me, I don't deserve love, I keep attracting the same person over and over, the right person is not out there for me, like all these belief systems. I think you're coming out of this frozen period. You know how like in the fairy tales, like Sleeping Beauty, there has to be a kiss to wake her up, or trying to think of all the other fairy tales or whatever, like there's always like an end of a spell. And because of the magic of fluorite, I think that there is an end of your Four of Coins spell. Okay? And that the King of Swords, that very cool energy, this is going to warm you up. It's like unfreezing you. So the Hanged Man is the process of the melting, or the process of the waking up. And I genuinely believe your perspective on your romantic life is going to do a 180. Completely see everything different, and the minute you start seeing things differently is the minute that love comes in. Okay, I love the magic component of this. And then the last moon card we have is a first quarter moon, which is about assessing. So this is honesty, real, true, brutal honesty, but not in a, like I said, that word clutter, right? Not in a cluttered thinking kind of way where you just kind of go off the handle of all the reasons why it's not working. It's very logical. It makes sense. It's like the proper use of your rational mind and your intellect to accept certain things, right? And to just come to peace with things. And to come to peace with like, oh, well, maybe I actually am playing a part in my lack of love life, you know? And then the minute that you start warming up or waking up is the minute when love really, really can come in. So still time, right? I think there's still going to be time between between now and the time when that person, whoever that person is, makes his way to you or her way to you. But enjoy the waking up period. It's meant to be fluid. It's meant to be relaxed. It's not like all choppy and down the rapids and boom, boom, boom. It's meant to just float you down a very calm river, all right? So it's not aggressive in any way, shape, or form. But just be open, right? Amethyst. When you're doing your meditations, focus on the base and the crown chakras, all right? Okay. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with that. Thank you so much. Okay, pile number 3. For those of you who picked the red Jasper, let's go ahead and get started. So the first 4 tarot cards, we get the 6 of Cups, the 5 of Cups, the card of Oppression, and the 4 of Cups. Wow, this kind of happened with the first pile too. Like, you guys, I promise you, I shuffled all these cards, but we're getting lots of Cups energies coming out. So I'm feeling a very dreamy energy. There's something with your past for sure. Your past is being oppressive. It's pushing you down. All right? It's holding you back. There's baggage. And it could be with a love you never got to have. It could be with a divorce after a 20-year marriage. It could be, dealing with a custody battle right now, like whatever it is. There's something very, very heavy. And it's important for you to continue to allow your heart to heal and to not play this whole game of that romantic love is going to fix the problems, right? Or I would be happy when I find this love of my life, right? That's a very dangerous game to play, and it's not helping the love come in, because the universe or your higher intelligence is like, you know what, that's not right. It's not going to make you happy. I'm not going to let love come in. So there needs to be a grounding, I feel. That's what the 4 of Cups is really saying to me, an emotional grounding. a quality of stability, established roots, and feeling absolutely 100% secure in your own self. Now, some of you may be sitting here and be like, Jane, I'm here. Like, I'm definitely 100%. I feel good. I feel happy. I have my own life. I'm not, but gosh, like sometimes this stuff operates in the subconscious realm. And I'm getting the moon energy here, I'm getting the moon here, and I'm even getting the moon here, which tells me that from your conscious mind, you're totally good to go. You're totally ready. You feel great. You're living your life like a normal person, but yet there is something lingering. And it needs to be cleared, and it needs to be forgiven. I think that's the word, the most important word. It needs to be forgiven. You need to give yourself some grace, and don't, make yourself feel like you're the only one responsible for what happened. Like maybe you're assuming way too much responsibility here. Because I know that you guys want, you want that feeling of fulfillment and joy, but maybe there's too much of a connection of not feeling that love and joy with romance. Like romance has been the source of a lot of suffering maybe. And so there seems like maybe there's a subconscious tie there. So on one hand, you really, really want it and you really want that person. But then subconsciously it's pushing in the other direction. So you're kind of working against yourself a little bit. Let's go ahead and see what the tarot cards have to say here. So we have 10 of coins, 9 of coins, and the 6 of swords. So I want you to know you're a high value individual. I mean, obviously, right? You're a high value individual. You have a lot to give. And it would be in your best interest to prioritize your relationships at this time. To prioritize the friendships and the parent relationships, the connection with the people that are absolutely solid in your life. Prioritize those things over other mundane tasks, and to absolutely express gratitude for the amazing things that you currently have. I feel like this journey is currently happening, right? The transition from where you've been into where you're going. It's happening, but it's happening slowly. I'm getting a real slow vibe. Like these coins are slowing it down, but I'm telling you, the slow pace is going to pay off big time. Because what's happening is as you are letting this oppressive stuff go and you're really truly releasing yourself from certain things, you're doing it for real. Okay, you're doing it for real. And as you do, you step more and more and more every day. It's probably like a daily thing that you can't really perceive because it's so part of your everyday life. But you're getting healthier and healthier and healthier. And you probably are noticing a difference too in your actual physical health. You're probably noticing higher vitality. You simply have more go after it kind of energy, you can get it done, you can work really hard, you can focus, okay? If you're having issues with your health, that too must be prioritized. I'm seeing a lot of health energy with the coins coming through. So if there's any problem with your health whatsoever, or if you're not exercising, or if you're not paying attention to your body, or you're eating things right now that you shouldn't, stop doing those things. That's a part of the process. Right? Listening to your body, listening to the things of the world. Listening to the body, and also connecting with loved ones, family, or the family that you've created with really best friends. And being able to really articulate your boundaries, being able to articulate what you stand for and what you will and will not accept. A lot of times the cup energies can be susceptible to self-sacrifice, right? There's kind of this issue with the third chakra, right? Where it's just like give, 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 give. And it can be detrimental to the soul, detrimental to the energy systems. So this is you, I think, it's like recharging your battery, gaining power. So when you're in the process of recharging your battery, it's not necessarily recommended to unplug halfway through, because you're going to need full power when a relationship really comes into your life. So allow yourself to fully charge, because as you fully charge, this oppressive stuff gets less and less and less. It's like this is the empty battery, this is the full battery, and you're doing an inverse relationship. So the further and further away, which means in time, the further away in time that you get from this oppressive stuff, the more and more full you get, and the more and more likely you are to have that romantic, perfect love with an imperfect person kind of thing, okay? So let's take a look at the sexual magic deck. Okay, so we have the 6 of coins, and we have the Queen of Swords. Two individuals here, I feel. I think a lot of people, they're looking at you. Right? Like I do. I think they're looking at you. I think they're paying attention to you. I think they want to be with you. And I'm wondering if this 6 of Cups, like fantasy quality, has taken you like so high that you're not seeing that people are looking at you. You're not seeing that people want a relationship with you. And you're kind of isolating yourself, maybe even sexually. You're taking care of yourself, right? You're doing everything yourself. Which I think is actually good for you right now, right? 4 of Cups. I think it's good for you right now because it's connecting you with the idea that you don't really need another person to help you heal. This is you assuming the responsibility and helping you heal. I think you have a temptress quality. You're very tempting, or you're very much a tease for people. I see a lot of like playing, I don't know if it's like playing hard to get, or it's like people can see you but they cannot have you. Like you're putting out a very unavailable vibe, whether you know it or not, right? A really unavailable vibe. Like here's the man, here's the woman, here's the man like in a painting or in a mirror, and here's the queen. Like there's no physical contact. So people aren't crossing the bridge to you. All right? So what that means for you is that you may have to make it very clear using your voice, right? And really communicating what you want. Saying, I want this. And in a way, that's also setting boundaries. A lot of things with boundaries, I think, coming through. What else? Ooh, look at this one. Victory and success. Which in a love reading tells me that whatever it is you're looking for, you're probably going to get. Okay, we're getting a lot of 6 energies coming out. Whatever it is you're looking for, you're going to get. This is worth celebrating. It's worth feeling excited about. So here I am kind of talking about certain things, but it's all getting taken care of naturally. It's all getting phased in. Okay, now we have the abalone shell. Ritual, awareness, and balance. What are you doing ritually? Like in terms of your meditation, what are you doing to honor the earth? What are you doing to honor your life, to honor your experiences? With the Five of Cups, which is underneath here, I do worry that you're trying to just kind of ignore something that happened rather than feel appreciative for what happened. And with the power of ritual and meditation, you can establish a positive relationship with your negative or oppressive experiences. Expressing gratitude for them because they have ultimately made you who you are and they've gotten you to this point. And this, I think, actually will open you up sexually as well, focusing on that sacral chakra, the root chakras, getting that sexual energy flowing, getting that vital energy flowing, which is also going to be adding to the recharge of your battery. Okay, here we have the crystal. And I'm so sorry, I'm probably going to totally butcher how to pronounce this. It's Agerine? I'm so sorry. I know there are going to be crystal experts out there. I'm totally probably saying it wrong. But this particular stone has a lot to do with your integrity, solidarity, and also consistency. You have to really trust yourself. You have to assert your values. Because again, likely the reason for the oppressive stuff was because you didn't assert yourself. You didn't set those boundaries, so you were taken advantage of. So by being a beacon of integrity and living into, right, there's no hypocrisy here. Maybe that's a part of what's going on too, is as you attain the Four of Cups stability, maybe you are aligning what you do with what you say and believe. So you're finding a streamlined self, which is unapologetic. And the more streamlined you can be, the more open your channels are, which will then invite love. And then we have a wisdom card from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Wisdom. You are operating in wisdom and you are acquiring new wisdom as we speak. Simply by being, simply by going through the processes that you've been going through, by aligning yourself, by finding that streamlined energy, you are becoming more and more like a guru, okay? You're becoming like that internal perfect self, so to speak. And I know no one's perfect, right? We all have egos and personalities and stuff, but as long as you're aligned and as long as you're walking in integrity, you then become someone that people truly respect. Maybe there is a story of respect here, right? Gaining the respect for the people that you hope to date, right? Or being someone that the person you're dating will respect. Let's say it like that. That's a better way to say it. So yeah. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. I hope you got something out of this. I wish you nothing but the best. Take care. Okay, pile number 4. You guys picked the Hematite crystal. Let's go ahead and get started with the 4 tarot cards. Okay, card of transformation, Queen of Swords, perspective, and strength. Okay, so let's take a look here. A lot of major arcana coming through. So you've been through a lot already recently, right? You've gone through a lot of stuff. You've probably been doing all the super deep work. You've been really changing. I think in many ways this could apply both spiritually and in the world too. Like you might be changing your career, you might be changing your location. And it's because of this disruption that, okay, it is hard for love to really come in at this time. Now, you're taking on a Queen of Swords energy, which can be really, really harsh sometimes. And she's not necessarily the most inviting. She does have that when you get to know her. Okay, so once you kind of get to know the Queen of Swords, you see how loving and warm and compassionate she can be. But in the initial impression, she can be very cold and come off as uncaring and very dismissive. So there might be a protective quality coming through because of kind of the disruption here, that you are putting off kind of a vibe that might be off or not normal for you at this time. It's not like the way you normally are. Okay, now if you are normally like that, it's going to be time for you to get some perspective. Right here we have the word perspective. To start seeing this in a different capacity. This is sometimes this can be a protective mechanism where you initially are cool to the touch because you simply want people to reject themselves. It is a defense mechanism a lot of times. You want people who only really want to be in your life, who really want to get to know you, to kind of prove that they really want to get to know you. But I think it's time for you to kind of put your weapon down and allow your heart to be vulnerable. Get perspective on your swords. Get perspective on the way that people see you. Get perspective on how you even enter into a room. With the Strength card, there's often an indication that you are going to need to be strong for something. And that can be disorienting because it's like, okay, sometimes it has nothing to do with what's out in the outside world, but it has to do with just being strong to make the changes inside yourself. Being strong to admit something about your personality, being strong to admit that you've been wrong. Okay, now this is kind of a theme that's been coming out with a lot of the piles. So it's healthy for us to self-examine. And I think using other people is going to be of benefit to you. And what I mean by that is asking people what they really think. Like your friends and your family or people that you can trust to be honest. Ask people what they really think. Like, hey, am I kind of bitchy? Like, am I a certain way? Or do I come off really cold? Or, because I'm trying to invite love into my life, but I'm wondering if I'm doing something. Now, I don't necessarily think that you're doing anything consciously. It's just this Queen of Swords vibe. Again, like I said, it's not like you're not a nice person, because I think you ultimately are. We all are. I think, at least people that are watching tarot card readings, we're all nice. But, oh, you know what? Sorry. Just watching my video here. So it has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with that initial, like when people interact with you initially. And you're going to have to be strong to be humble. To separate your ego, which we know is represented by the lion, from your higher self. Your ego might take a little bit of a blow, but it's going to be in your best interest here. Because to melt a Queen of Swords and to have her put her weapon down, she's all about the love. In a way, sometimes she's afraid of love because she knows how hard she falls and how quickly she can fall. And I wonder if you just simply don't want to go through that again. Right? You don't want to go through it again. But it's problematic. Okay? I see a lot of optimism though. So I don't think that you're being all pessimistic or a Debbie Downer here. We have the Six of Coins, we have the Two of Swords, and we have the Ace of Swords. Okay, so more swords coming out. We have the fantasy aspect here, but there's also, this is the New Vision Tarot, so we also have the image of like the ancestors there. The image of those that gave way. It's important for you to have courage at this time. Okay, strength. It's important for you to have courage. It's important for you to push yourself to express love to the people that you already love, like your parents, like your children, or if you're even watching this and you're married, like express that to your spouse. Nurture the current relationships in your life, Because if you're out here idealizing romance, but neglecting the love that's already in your life, then right there you have a major block. Right? I think there's a message of vulnerability in creating a culture of vulnerability within your sphere. So anytime someone comes to you, you are going to be vulnerable so that they are free to be vulnerable as well. Okay? I see a card here of peace. A lot of times people see this as a being at a crossroads, which I guess it can be. Sometimes this transformative energy can really push us, and we get to a point where we're like, okay, well, now I don't know what to do. Now I don't know which direction, which location, like I just don't know. And you can find stagnation. But if you spend too much time being indecisive in this arena, the indecisive energy is also a blockage too. There's going to come something. I think something's going to happen recent, like close by, like soon. Something's going to happen soon. It's going to make you see, like, look, like if you're feeling like you're at a crossroads with something, just pick something. You're not going to pick the wrong thing. I guarantee it. You're not going to pick the wrong thing. This is for the interest of streamlining your life, for the interest of making things happen, for the interest of being fearless. I think you do need to be fearless at this time, especially in love, even if it comes to like walking up to a stranger and just kind of complimenting them or starting a little flirtation or something. Like, yeah, put yourself in that position. It is going to benefit you. Okay? And I know you may feel otherwise, but I'm telling you, even if you get rejected, it's about warming up the muscles. Okay? Make a decision, do something, say the words. Who cares about rejection? Okay, this is not a person that cares about rejection. This is when you are afraid of rejection, then you stand still. But when you just simply do something or truly make up your mind, then the energy starts moving real smooth. So because this is a love reading, I did pull in the Sexual Magic Tarot. So here we have the King of Coins and we have the Knight of Coins as well. So I'm seeing strong masculine energies here. I'm feeling like you, in spite of the Queen of Swords, which I think, oh, I have a fly in here. The Queen of Swords, which I think is kind of what you're defaulting to. It's like your default setting. But in reality, I think you really do want that connection a lot. And I see the masculine out there truly making it happen. You may have a tendency to be all in your head right now, fantasizing about things, playing out, especially sexual fantasies in your mind. But I feel like just a few little tweaks in your energy, and you'll actually have an opportunity to enjoy those fantasies in a reality. Right? You will. You'll have the opportunity. It's coins. So that's... Oh, I'm so sorry. This is King of Cups. I don't know why I said King of Coins. King of Cups, King of Coins. Oh, my God. Knight of Coins. Sorry. Anyway, but either way, it's still kind of the same. But the coins here, right, the pentacle aspect here is about the reality. You may feel like you are trying to lure people in, which might not really be your vibe. Like, am I just manipulating people now? Or like, no, you're not. I think it's you connecting with the base nature of yourself, right? The connecting with the body, connecting with the desire. I think your desire is very strong, if I'm being honest with you. Like a very strong libido. But again, the Queen of Swords is putting that protective barrier there. But here we have the Ace of Swords, which is say the words, right? Be strong. Full speed ahead. Take action. Tell your crush what you feel. Now, I'm not saying they're definitely going to reciprocate, but you need to say the things, right, in order to clear that up. I do think you need to clear it up. You need to clear the path, which can be scary. Okay, so what else do we have here? We have foundation and achievements. You should spend time looking at your life and giving yourself a lot of credit, okay? Take time and pat yourself on the back and be like, you know what? I may have really struggled at this time, but I'm doing pretty good. You need to give yourself accolades, okay? If you're being really hard on yourself, which the Queen of Swords can be really hard on herself, and while I'm sitting here in the beginning saying, okay, well, you might need to change your perspective on something, that's all the more reason to like look at what you've achieved and look at how far you've come and how grounded you actually really are. You may feel all over the place because of this recent change, but you are ultimately very well grounded and you're a good asset, right? You're someone that people should want to have a relationship with. You know, there's nothing in your world, in the physical world, that is rejecting. All right, it's just your fear that's rejecting. And I think you have real strong desires for the emotional connection. I think you're wanting someone to be in the more masculine role, but really you're the one that's going to need to be at this time. And even here, I got the element of earth, okay? And remember how I kind of made that mistake of like, here's King of the Coins. Yeah, it is about the earth. And your body is your most, right, adjacent connection with earth, right? Your soul gets grounded via your body. So this is logic, support, and nurture. Now, the nurturing component of your current relationships, the nurturing component of your body, the nurturing component of people that you care about, and also nurturing your desire, like honor the desire. If you have a strong sex drive, great. I really do think that if you start doing something about it and you start either approaching people or just making it known that you're interested, like here, all he's doing is giving her like a piece of fruit, right? So it's not as though he's trying to attack her or anything like that. He's just like, no, here's a little gift. I'm interested. Right? You're the apple of my eye, you've caught my eye, and I actually really want to care about someone. These are feminine energies, right? Cups and coins, earth and water, feminine. So allow for the femininity. Sorry, that sounded confusing. It's the nurturing component of the feminine, but with the masculine effort. I'm losing my words. All right, so here we have the crystal card. And I'm sorry I may butcher how to pronounce this. I'm not like a crystal expert. This is Big Spite crystal. And this has a lot to do with courage, has a lot to do with prioritizing love, especially with the red kind of magenta color. It's a mixture of the passion and the sex with the real connected, passionate, nurturing, caring love. You need to invite love in. You have to prioritize love in order to invite love in, because like attracts like. So if you want love, you have to enjoy the love. Okay? Last but not least, growth. Okay, yes, we get the transformation card, we get the strength card. It makes sense that you get the growth. You are growing by changing. You are growing by changing the way you normally do things, by changing your energy, by having the courage to allow other people to tell you what they really think of you, and to allow yourself to become more vulnerable, right? As much as we might like to think vulnerability is a weakness, we all know that that's not in fact true. In fact, vulnerability is a strength. So you tapping into your vulnerability, kind of giving up on trying to protect yourself so much, and simply letting love flow. All right. And actually, as you nurture your current relationships, Six of Cups, those relationships will get stronger too, right? The relationships with your parents, the relationships with your kids and your best friends. As you put more emphasis on those, not only will you be inviting romantic love, but you will also be inviting better connections with the people you're already connected with. So that's an added bonus as well. And they are your foundation too, right? They are your support system here too. Okay, that's it for you guys. Thank you so much. Good luck with everything. I wish you nothing but the best. Take care. Okay, pile number 5. Those of you who chose the Amethyst, let's go ahead and get started. So the first 4 cards, we have our tarot cards. We have the 9 of Cups, the 8 of Cups, Justice, and the Sun. Okay, so recently you've probably left something behind, sort of started exploring a new world for yourself, or started exploring how to create a new world for yourself. I think you self-prioritized, right? You really put yourself first. You decided to take a leap, do the self-love thing, right? Really ask yourself, what do I want? What makes me thrive? What makes me happy? And you made the changes that you needed to make. You left the circumstances, you got uncomfortable, and you started exploring. And I think you started exploring different aspects of yourself, how you love and what kind of love you want. And now it's time for justice to do its thing. Justice is like the governor of the universal laws of the universe. It always ensures that what goes out comes back in. And you've been putting out very strong signals that you know what you want and you're not going to settle and you're willing to experiment. Because I think the 8 of Cups is very experimental. I'm willing to go into an unknown space. I'm willing to date someone completely off-brand for me if it means fulfillment. And justice comes out and it says, okay, that's what you asked for. That's probably what you're going to get, right? And then we have the Sun, which tells me that, yes, that's what you're going to get. The Sun is always a positive outcome. So whatever it is you're asking for, you are inviting the joy that comes from it. Okay, now this I think is important to note. When you're doing this moving on and you're trying to manifest love into your life, I always say to manifest the feelings, not the circumstances. So it doesn't matter who you're with or where you are or whose house you're in or how much money anybody's got, right? But if you manifest the joy, then the joy you will have. So now is a time to really start tapping into the feelings of happiness and connectedness and feeling that energy flow during sex and feeling the inspiration that a romantic partnership can give you, because that's absolutely what's going to come back for you. All right? Now, let's take a look at what else we've got here. We've got the 6 of Wands, the King of Swords, and the Knight of Coins. Okay, look, you guys, love is probably a lot closer than you think. Honestly, it's probably right around the corner. It might even happen like within the next couple months. King of Swords. He can be a very cold energy, and I had this conversation, I think, with the first or second pile. It can be very cold or come off very detached and uncaring, but the opposite is actually true. He's highly sensitive. He is someone that puts duty first, right? He's very connected with what he is supposed to do. And I see you not giving up on your standards here. I see you not giving up on your boundaries. And I suspect you're going to be drawing someone in that is willing to slowly make their way into your heart. Now, you've been probably on your own for a while. You've been doing the growth, you've been working on your career, you've been getting your finances in order, and I think you're doing quite well. Six of Wands is another card of success, right? Goes well with the Sun. This is a card that suggests that there are a lot of people in your corner. You might have a very strong social life. You might be enjoying the passion of living, or you might just be enjoying like being relaxed and chilling out and not being stressed at all. And I think you're intimidating, okay? It's important for you to understand that you may be giving off an intimidating vibe. You may be suggesting to people accidentally that you really don't need anybody, okay? And sometimes that can be like confusing for people. But here seems to be someone that's like, okay, well, let's maybe one little inch at a time. This person's willing to go at your pace. They're very non-threatening for you. This is someone who's willing to be of service to you as well. And I think they're willing to prove how into you they are, right? But if you don't make it somewhat easy for them, this person, if they don't feel appreciated, and if they don't feel it reciprocating back at some point, they're going to move on. Okay, so this is an indication for you to really ensure, first of all, how honest you're being with yourself, how honest you're being with someone else. Like maybe this could even be someone that kind of comes in and sort of tests you, quote unquote. Not that I like that concept too much, the testing concept, but it's almost as though they can be in your life specifically to make you evaluate how communicative you really are. So if you're not really into them, you're going to need to say it. And in a way, I feel like the swords are carving a path, and that path is with your words. Communicating the way you feel, communicating what it is you want, communicating and sort of directing people. Brutal honesty with a King of Swords sometimes, but this person can handle the brutal honesty. All right, they really, really can. So, yeah, keep your eyes out for a a Knight of Coins. Keep your eyes open for a Knight of Coins. They might surprise you. All right, from the Sexual Magic Tarot deck, we have the Nine of Coins and we have the Two of Swords. I'm getting a real like fetishy vibe from these cards here, which may indicate that your sexual drive is like it's kinky. And you're feeling like you want someone to take that kink out on, okay? Which is great, right? And I have to tell you that this Knight of Coins represents the Virgo archetype. Now, I'm not saying this person will be a Virgo, but we all know that the Virgos are known for being kind of kinky. So this is probably someone that actually can satisfy those kinds of interesting desires that you have, or sort of out of the ordinary fetishes that you have. Some of you, like the fetish itself is actually just like emotional connection, right? Like you really get off on that emotional closeness. And this is probably someone who's willing to do that. They're willing to serve you. They're willing to learn. They're willing to learn what kind of ticks your boxes, you know? And yet they're also not willing to completely sacrifice themselves either, right? So there's a very healthy coming together with these energies. Now, I'm also getting this feeling of like really enjoying the exploration of the sexual energy. The lot of like Eight of Cups underneath here, right? One of the second cards we got. It's very explorative. It's very experimental. Some of you may be feeling experimental sexually in a way that you've never felt before. And by simply realigning your mind, right, and aligning your energy, or aligning whatever it is you do by yourself, I think those things are going to start really coming and manifesting into your reality. So a lot of desires and a lot of fantasies becoming a reality for you, which is super exciting. what else do we have coming out here? Okay, so we have a card of awareness, which is beautiful. This is you really enjoying the body, right? This is you really enjoying the physicality, which is one of the huge reasons why we're here, right? To be able to experience the thoughts, to experience the emotions, and to experience the physical world. And the body and the tendencies and the fetishes and the preferences and all of those, like those are truly a part of why we're here. So I see you becoming much more sexually liberated. And maybe that's kind of why you're taking on this King of Swords vibe too, because you're like, you know, I'm gonna need a really specific type of person who's going to try these things with me, and someone that I am going to feel safe. I'll tell you, you can feel safe with a Knight of Coins, okay? Someone who comes in real earthy. They don't have to be an earth sign. Please don't cling on to that. They don't have to be, but they're going to come in with their own appreciation of the body too. So here we have an awareness, which is you. And I think you've done a really good job just with the first layer of cards. You've done a really good job in enabling a higher level of awareness, because the more experimental you get with life, the more courage you showcase. The universe is like, oh man, this person's really courageous, right? They did the Eight of Cups thing, and they're asking for some kind of interesting, different things. So let's go ahead and give it. Let's experience like the universe, right? We know is wanting to experience itself. So it's wanting to experience itself through you in a heightened awareness way. And when you engage in these kinds of, you know, kind of kinky things, or kind of fetishy things, or, you know, whatever it is, you are honoring the universe's experimentation. You know, you truly are. And when you go into it with awareness, it can be even that much more pleasurable. So here we have the Seed of Life, which is miracle, oneness, and potential. You may be becoming one with someone soon. What's interesting is I don't really see that many blockages. I think you have taken, it's like you've taken accountability for your energy, and you've learned what it means to move forward regardless. And because of that, you're succeeding in creating a really amazing life for yourself, and you're succeeding in creating love for yourself. The more accountable you are, the more potential for love there is, okay? And there can be some kind of a miracle that comes through here, all right? So here we have the Seraphos Green Quartz. Excuse me, Seraphos. I pronounced it improperly. Seraphos Green Quartz. So this card is specifically about accepting your place in the world, essentially creating a heaven on earth. This is you. What happens when you take accountability for your life and your energy, your home and your heart space and your chakra and the energy you bring into a room? What happens is you create a heaven on earth. And when you're trust, and when you kind of like trust in what's meant to be, you know, like you accept what can be changed and what cannot be changed, and you just allow things to just simply be, and you live authentically. See, I think these kind of sexual energies are truly authentic parts of yourself that either have never come out, or have, it's been a long time since they've come out. And the more authentic you get, the more courageous the universe sees you, and the more possible these things become. So it's kind of this snowball effect. The more true you are, the more heavenly your life becomes. And last but not least, the dark moon, which is the void. So the void is not bad. You know, the void is what happens when we connect with the oneness. A lot of like all four of these connected with the oneness, the potential, the darkness of the universe, and the acknowledgement of the present moment, that is all there is. opening yourself up to infinite possibilities or potential for a future. So like, I don't know, like the blockages, maybe Queen of Swords is probably the quote unquote worst one. Sorry, not Queen of Swords. Actually, no, I don't even know. I don't really know that you guys have a blockage. It's just more a matter of time and more a matter of manifesting and adjusting your energy, right? Being accountable for the energy. So a lot of the other piles, actually all the other piles, they had, you know, a lot of things to think about, but you guys, it's very forward moving. It's very streamlined. So expect amazing things to come, okay? You can expect it. You can use the law of expectation to actually like be like, oh, okay, it's definitely going to come then. So this is really, really good for you guys. I wish you guys nothing but the best. All right? Thank you so much. Take care.